welcome to the Fantasy Football Healers. We bring the heat with the boldest, spiciest hot takes in fantasy football. I'm Dustin Brown, joined by Colton Palmer, and we're diving into the 2025 season with fearless predictions and fiery debates to help you dominate your league. From breakout stars to draft busts, we're not afraid to call it like what we see it. So bring your roster, buckle up, and let's get into action because these takes are hot. Sizzling. Let's go.
We'd be like ghost peppers up in here. It's getting spicy.
Well, heat is bringing the heat.
Spicy. Why is it spicy? Oh, we should have gotten that drop for this, man.
What was that?
The why is it spicy drop.
Why is it spicy?
I don't know that one.
You never heard that one? Oh, man, you got to get more hip with the times. Get on TikTok.
I'm getting older.
You're phasing out of the youth's electronics and social media.
Colton, we've got a lot to get through. Before we get to our hot takes, let's break down some news. Garrett Wilson signs a big contract extension, 4 years, $130 million.
Whoop, whoop. I mean, it sucks that he stays on the Jets, but, you know, that's getting paid, so they're going to use him like he's the one.
He's the one?
Well, that he is the one, you know. But they're gonna use him. They see him that way, so I personally love it. You know, he gets to stay with the Jets, so hopefully they can start turning that organization around. But he's a key part of that team, so they needed him there. He gets his bag, and I mean, just great news.
I like that they did it well before training camp. They got it all taken care of. Let's keep on business-like. And talking about business-like for the Jets, Justin Fields had a non-contact injury, which was a bit scary because when the news broke, it said non-contact lower body injury. My mind went to, oh shit, here comes the ACL. And then someone's like, oh, the Achilles. Turns out it was a toe dislocation.
Yeah, and they put in the headline that came across my phone, Justin Fields carted off the field with lower body injury. And I'm like, great. Here it is. It's ACL, Achilles, like you said. But, you know, toe dislocation. I mean, still not the greatest thing. He's going to be missing a little bit of time there. But, I mean, you know, this is the pivotal part of training camp that we're in. So that kind of sucks, but still it's, you know, something just to keep an eye on. But nothing that's going to
I read that he was back at practice. I read that he was back at practice already. And so
pop that puppy back into place.
You know, maybe that just means that he just needed to pop back in place. No fracture. Probably just taped it up.
I was gonna say just maybe a little tape and some little physical therapy help tighten that joint up there. You got toe curls. You give
toe
your
scrunches. Pick up some marbles.
There you go, Justin Fields. If you're listening, we got a
buddy
PT.
Tape the two toes together.
We got a PT here for you, bud.
We're here for you. Mike Williams went to PUP and then shortly thereafter retired.
Yeah, I mean, for someone that was just so disappointing in fantasy football for his whole entire career, he was a great player, though. He was fun to watch, made a lot of big plays. You know, he was one of those guys that could absolutely win you the week because he would just blow up randomly. Yeah, he just couldn't recover from injury. He, you know, tore his ACL a few years back, and it seems like he just never recovered from it. And I think he kind of knew that. And, you know, why not go out known as being a great wide receiver than just trying to drag this thing on and just ruin your legend. So good for him.
I don't think you would add a lot of playing time on the team anyway. And they're going to be leaning hard on the run for the Chargers. At least he got to retire as a Charger.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he got to go back to his home team and got to retire a Charger, and good for him. Enjoy your retirement, man.
Speaking of Chargers, Najee Harris is now a Pirate. He played with some fireworks, got a little too close, and blew out his eye.
No, he did not blow out his eye. It was a mild eye irritation.
Your eye out, kid.
Just shoot your eye out. Yeah, they said he's going to be fine though for training camp. I believe it's already reported he's out there. So,
It sounded like it was superficial. They had
yeah.
some images of him out there with a hoodie on and some sunglasses on, and so I think it's probably just a non-story when it's all said and done. But it is taking some time away from training camp.
Yeah, taking it a little bit, but he'll be out there. He's all reliable unless he's playing with fireworks.
Don't get too close.
Back it up. Put it in reverse, Terry.
Bag up, bag up. Bag up, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry. Put it in reverse. Oh, Lord. Lord, Jesus. Oh, Lord. Oh, Jesus.
Tell me you know
Cool.
that one. Come on.
No.
Oh, my goodness. I have to send you all these videos now.
I don't know that one. Colston Loveland may not be available for training camp. He had the shoulder surgery, off-season shoulder surgery, not available for training camp. Cole Clement. Actually, it sounded like the whole Bears offense wasn't playing very well in the little bit of training camp that they've had so far. Their defense was playing quite well. Yesterday was all about in the red zone, and it sounded like the first team offense for the Bears just wasn't getting it going. They've only got to about a quarter of the plays for Ben Johnson's offense. So there's a lot to learn, a lot of training camp to go through. So they're struggling early. They're struggling early.
I think the expectation is once again going to be too high for the Bears. Everyone's going to see them as Ben Johnson stepping in, and this team is now automatically going to be awesome and great, and their offense is going to be firing all cylinder, which could be the case towards the back end of the season. But you got to think about they are learning a whole brand new offense. It is completely different than what they've been running. So this team is going to have to adjust and learn how to run this offense and learn the plays and see how it works in game time. I mean, we could be looking at a pretty brutal beginning of the season for the Bears. So just keep that in your expectations because it's completely different and they are learning. I mean, so it's going to be a rocky start.
I don't think you've heard this one, Colton.
Uh-oh.
Former NFL quarterback of the Bears, Jay Cutler, is under fire after slaying an animal in Africa that could be considered a critically endangered species. Cutler took to Instagram to post that he was hunting a giant sable antelope during his hunting trip in South Africa, and there's fewer than 100 mature individual antelope that are present.
I actually did hear this.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be a new one for you.
I've got a couple buddies that are like huge Bears fans, and they absolutely love Jay Cutler. Probably one of the best quarterbacks the Bears have ever had. I mean, honestly, he was a sketch dude on the Bears, but man, he was wild. He was a fun guy to watch. He's been breaking headlines left and right. Last year, I believe he was arrested for DUI charges, and man, he's just gotten wild after his whole divorce. So just finding new ways to make the headlines for old Jay Cutler.
While he was shooting the antelope, he had to have a big cig that was just hanging out of his mouth.
Absolutely. That dude is just unhinged.
Chris Godwin was put on the PUP, and my understanding is that he wasn't put on the PUP because of his ankle dislocation, fibula fracture, high ankle sprain with the hardware that he had back in October 2024. It was because he had a right knee meniscus cleanup. So an additional surgery. Now, this is on his right knee compared to his ankle dislocation fracture hardware was on the left.
He's got no good legs.
Lieutenant Dan, you got no legs.
He ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan.
So sad to see, but doesn't surprise me that he's on the PUP early on. I think he's going to miss the first couple games. I thought that was more because of his ankle, but I thought the knee cleanup surgery was an interesting addition.
Yeah, for dynasty holders of Godwin, it's starting to look more and more rough out there, especially if Igbuka can catch hold of this offense pretty early on. And if he takes a hold of it, I don't know if Igbuka lets go. I think they'll still absolutely use Godwin once he returns to health, but we could see him taking more of a back seat if Igbokwe can really take hold and run away with it. So looking scary, but something to keep an eye on. And he did get a big extension this offseason and got paid. So hopefully you can hang on to that, and he hangs on to some of his relevance. So
Speaking of scary,
What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Jordan Addison and Rashee Rice. Jordan Addison, DUI probation, awaiting the NFL suspension. Approximately 3 games is what I keep hearing. And then you've got Rashee Rice, sentenced to 5 years probation, 30 days jail time served during a 5-year probation period with an NFL suspension to come.
yeah, so we got both of these, I believe, like either back-to-back days or like on the same day that the court cases have been finished, which was just absolutely wild. So, I mean, yeah, Rashee Rice is huge. He's sending jail time. I mean, 30 days of it within 5 years, so it's nothing.
He can do it whenever he wants.
He can do it
And if
whenever
you
he
do one
wants.
day at a time.
Yeah, I mean, he can go in and out and just spend the night, which is just it's just crazy what you can have done if you're just rich. That's what we need to do, Dustin. Just make more
Could
money.
have been anybody else. They would have served a lot more than 30 days jail time for what he was doing. And he's just lucky that no one died.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, yeah, it was a lucky situation, and then fleeing the scene of it. My goodness, man. But yeah, I think Rashee Rice is going to get cracked down pretty hard by the NFL. I know that the Chiefs are the love child, but with him having to do jail time with it, I have a feeling they're going to say we need to step up on this one.
Well, wouldn't the Chiefs prefer get the suspension out of the way early on in the season while Hollywood Brown is healthy, while Xavier Worthy's healthy, and just let those guys just kind of cook for a little while, maybe see what Jalen Royals has in him, and then bring Rice back healthy, fresh in the middle of the season as they make their playoff push?
I mean, that would be opportune for them. It would be smart, but hopefully, I mean, we could be seeing a year-long suspension, though, possibly. I mean, with having to do jail time, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibilities.
Well, remember, it's been a while back now, but Adrian Peterson, he was on the exempt list for an entire year as the courts were trying to figure things out. They've got the courts figured out now. Now it's just a matter of the NFL figuring out what they want to do with Rice.
Yeah, so could be made an example, or they could just go with their love child of the Chiefs and just brush it off like nothing.
The 49ers are in trouble. The 49ers have almost all of their starting wide receivers on the PUP list. You got Ayuk on the PUP list. You got Pearsall on the PUP list. You got Jennings, who wants a contract or a trade. Jacob Cowing now has pulled his hamstring on July 23rd. 49ers wide receivers, who is pretty going to be throwing the ball to outside of Kittle?
Christian McCaffrey, man, have you not seen the videos? He looks so good again. He's running full speed, explosive. Oh, man, if you have McCaffrey, you got to be excited. They're just going to feed him and just absolutely run him into the ground. Hopefully you don't need him after this year, because I think his legs will be broken. He's just going to be done for. It is going to be, let's just take all players, throw it on McCaffrey's back, and he's just going to carry the team. That's just what we're going to do.
Well, I know you were concerned, but now Christian McCaffrey doesn't have to worry about this guy in the backfield. Israel Abanikanda was let go by the 49ers.
I honestly haven't even been tracking it.
I hope that he actually gets tagged on with the Minnesota Vikings. We need a third running back.
You just keep saying any running back at all. You hope they go to the Vikings.
Go to the Vikings. Speaking of going to the Vikings, another running back that I liked coming undrafted last year was Michael Wiley. He was also let go by the Washington Commanders.
Okay.
Moving on. Seahawks have released Noah Fant. I think that's big news. I think Noah Fant is going to find himself on another team. I heard that he is going to be meeting with the Saints this weekend. which I think that'd be an interesting fit. I would prefer that he goes somewhere else.
I would definitely prefer he goes someone else. They have Juwan Johnson there, who has been a very good tight end. I mean, nothing bad. And then
A lot of their other tight ends are injured
Yeah.
or going to be retiring. Taysom Hill, not available. Foster Moreau, not available.
This would be the most like Saints move ever, though, is just getting another older tight end and not rebuilding and just keep trying to kick this can down the field.
My mind keeps thinking, though, that he's going to connect himself with the Dolphins.
I would not hate that.
Will Levis, he's having season-ending shoulder surgery, so I guess there's not a quarterback competition with the Titans.
I mean, I really thought he was going to be able to take over the number one quarterback role. Just kidding. I don't care that Levis is getting shoulder.
The last little bit is just kind of sprinkling in a few last-second news items. I'll see if you have any interest in these three. Naheem Hines signs a deal with the Chargers. He hasn't played in 2 years. Bo Melton made the switch from wide receiver to corner. DJ Shark signs with the Falcons. Savion Williams, concussion, and Justin Jefferson has a mild hamstring injury.
The one that does interest me because he is an old colt is Naeem Hines. Hasn't played in 2 years. He tore his ACL during a jet ski accident 2 years ago. Yeah, in a jet ski accident.
I forgot, yeah.
And that was when he was on the Bills. He was primarily on the Bills, though, just to be kind of like a special teams guy anyways. But he does have very good special team skills. So being on the Chargers here, he'll probably be that special teams guy. So if you get any kind of points for special team stuff, I'm in a couple of leagues where they get, a point for 10 yards for special team stuff. He could be an interesting play that you can just pick up on the waivers. And if it doesn't turn out to be anything, you feel guilt-free dropping him. So definitely interesting.
Do you think he's dead?
Oh, yeah. No, he's not. He's not seeing the field otherwise.
Don't say that. Never say that. Goonies never say die.
Other than special teams, you don't need to pick this guy up.
Bolton, are you ready for some hot takes? We
Let's
had
do
a
it,
poll that was on X, and it was basically asking, what do you want to hear from the podcast? And guess what? Hot takes won out. So we're doing a hot takes episode.
We got a couple hot takes here, baby.
Hot.
Oh, I can tell you this much. It will not be Anthony Richardson finishes as the quarterback one overall. I'll tell you.
Did I just hear you correctly? Did you say Anthony Richardson's going to finish as the quarterback one?
I said you will not hear that hot take again. You won't hear it ever again. It's not coming from me, sir.
Okay, let's bring in your first hot take.
All right. Well, I'm going to start at the wide receiver position. And I don't know if this is the hottest of takes because he's really been getting a lot of buzz, but he's still sitting pretty low on people's wide receiver boards. For redraft, he's in like the early 20s. And for Dynasty, he's all the way down to wide receiver 32, which is insane to me. But that's DK Metcalf finishing as a top 5 wide receiver this year. Spicy. I mean, he is the last man standing on his team. It is Aaron Rodgers' last go. Mike Tomlin needs to get to the Super Bowl. Otherwise, he is going to start losing the backing of his fans. So they're going to do whatever it takes, and they're going to be slinging the ball to score. He's the only wide receiver. I mean, they've got Pat Freiermuth. They have Jonnu Smith, but they're
not wide receivers.
But they're not big play wide receivers. They're going to get their passes here and there. But the only wide receiver that we know is good on this team is DK Metcalf. And he is an absolute monster and a beast. He's in his prime. He's 27 years old. I mean, I think he's going to just absolutely dominate. And I mean, it's not out of the realm. He finishes here as the top 5.
That's pretty hot there, Colton. There's still a couple wide receivers that could sign with the Steelers that could include Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper. I'm less concerned about Amari because I feel like he's very similar to DK Metcalf. But if Keenan Allen signs with the Steelers, I'd have a little bit more reserve on your top 5 take. But very hot, very hot.
I still think even if Keenan Allen signs, I think that takes a little bit of heat off of DK, and then they can't be double teaming him, and that just makes him quite possibly even more dangerous. Because if you got only one guy on DK, he's gonna freaking shove them into the stands as like chuck them like a spear.
You know who DK Metcalf doesn't have to worry about in the top 5?
Oh no.
I'm so sad to say this as I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, but I think Justin Jefferson falls outside of the top 12 finish at the wide receiver position. Justin Jefferson, I was thinking this prior to his mild hamstring injury. Well, now he's got a mild hamstring injury prior to training camp. He's going to miss some time here. Hamstring injuries can kind of keep creeping up. So there's concerns of the injury. I've already had concerns of J.J. McCarthy with the lack thereof throwing. I have concerns about our running backs with not having enough depth. I think that the NFC North is a very challenging division to begin with. And in my soul, I feel like the Minnesota Vikings could be the bottom team in the North. And with that, I think Justin Jefferson is going to have a hard time making a connection with J.J. McCarthy and missing a lot of opportunities, hence outside the top 12.
Whew. That is that's spicy, man.
So sad.
I mean, on top of that, he has not finished outside of the top 12, except for 1 year when he only played 10 games. He was the wide receiver 33. Other than that, he has always been top 10, including his rookie year when he finished as 6th. So that is spicy.
That one made me sweat, Colton.
That one is you
That one
should
made me
be
sweat.
sweating. You should be sweating.
Got a little dry mouth.
My goodness, you need to go chug a little water, man. That was like California Reaper spicy.
I hope that's not the case. I hope it's not the case. But yeah, that's my first hot take there, Colton. Do you have any more wide receiver hot takes?
No wide receiver hot takes.
So you had said this earlier in the season that Alec Aomanor is going to have about 720 yards in our Back to the Future podcast. He said he's going to score most of his points against Travis Hunter. I think that's still a fairly hot take for Alec Aomanor to have 720 yards, and even more hot takey that you said against which teams? Against the Jags.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibilities to me, still in my mind, because there's not a lot on this Titans team, wide receiver wise. You got Calvin Ridley. There's no freezing the internet. You've got Calvin Ridley. That's about it. I mean,
A lot of running backs.
People are believers in the Cam Ward coming to the Titans. People have loved Cam Ward. They're still raving about him and how good he is. I honestly haven't heard anything out of training camp about how Cam Ward's looking, doing nothing.
See, I'm hearing a lot about Cam Ward. I think the hype train's starting to toot.
Is it starting to toot? Because I mean, I've just been searching on Twitter, and then like for me, nothing's popping up. Maybe that's just my algorithm because I haven't cared that much about. Maybe it's listening in and knows how much I just hate this quarterback class. It's just like we won't show him anything about him. So maybe yeah, but I do know people liked him during the draft season and everything. So he's gonna have to throw the ball to someone. So maybe Alec Aomanor can really step his game up and become that too.
Well, around that same time frame, I had also said that Darius Slayton was going to outproduce Travis Hunter. I'm still going to stick to that take.
Whew.
A hot take that I had earlier in the season, back in March, which is going to blow up in my face, was Luther Burden over Tet fantasy points in 2025. That one has a lot of just burning my scalp off. That's going to be a terrible take. But I had two other ones that are a little bit maybe smaller. I think Deontay Johnson is going to be the wide receiver 1 for the Browns, and over Judy and Tillman. And I think that the 49ers are in a huge amount of trouble at the wide receiver position. And a guy is coming out of the ashes as an undrafted wide receiver that's going to make some noise and potentially be the wide receiver 1 for the 49ers, and that's Isaiah Naylor.
I'll have to look into him. I haven't heard anything of this.
No, that's what makes it hot there, Colton.
That's hot. That's real hot.
So there's my wide receiver hot takes.
Man, you did have a list. I wrote down one for each position, then a
A
couple
couple of them were from earlier in the season I wanted to bring up on our hot takes episode, just in case you missed it.
I mean, are there any wild ones I've thrown out there that I've just put into the back of my mind because I'm now thinking too spicy?
Well, that's why I tried to write them in here as we went along.
Oh, good. So I'm sure something will come back to haunt me here soon.
Well, I'll be writing down this DK Metcalf top 5 wide receiver also. We got to keep this list and lock it in.
Yeah, I was spot on last year with my quarterback one, so.
Well, your quarterback won again this year for Anthony Richardson. That seems pretty hot, Colton.
Stop it. I didn't say it. I'll never say it again.
Oh, man. It might have been just a year off, Colton. Might have been just a year off.
We'll see.
Well, speaking of just being a year off, I'm going to bring you to my tight end hot take. And I think I was just a year off with my hot take last year with Evan Ingram being the top tight end in the league. I'm reeling it back here, Colton. I'm bringing it back. We're pressing the rewind button. Evan Ingram's going to be the tight end 1 this year. And not only that, he's going to break the tight end record as I projected last year. He had injuries last year. They had quarterback problems last year. He is now on a better offense with more opportunities. He doesn't have to compete with BTJ. He only has to compete with an aging Sutton. And the Broncos are going to be in a lot of scoring opportunities, and they're a very hot offense right now. And they're bringing the heat as we are bringing the heat with these hot takes. And I don't know if it's that much of a hot take, but I'm still sticking to it with Evan Ingram as the top tight end in fantasy this year, and he will break the tight end record.
Wow. That's hot. I mean, I thought my tight end was hot, but I left a little wiggle room with my tight end because there's still a man in this league named Brock Bowers. So I couldn't steal the top spot from him because I'm a firm believer that no matter what you do, Brock Bowers is going to be tight end 1. I mean, you could catch all the balls in the world, and Brock Bowers is still going to beat you as the tight end 1. But my tight end.
Will he have that many scoring opportunities though compared to the Broncos? I mean, Evan Ingram could get there with the touchdowns. Brock Bowers can have all the receptions in the world, but if Evan Ingram's getting a poop ton of touchdowns, that can really sway the numbers.
You're not wrong, but I mean, maybe this guy will just be sitting at tight end 2 behind Evan Ingram here. But my tight end number 2, I've got no other than TJ Hawkinson, finishing the season as tight end 2. I know you have some rough beliefs in JJ McCarthy, and you don't know if he's that guy, but who is the best friend of a quarterback that can't throw the ball that great? And that's the tight end. And they're going to have to sling the ball around. And I mean, if Justin Jefferson's landing outside the top 12, they still got to throw the ball to someone. And that's Mr. TJ Hawkinson.
I agree.
He can absolutely perform in the midfield. And, you know, that might be Anthony Richardson's weak spot, but most quarterbacks are pretty good at throwing the ball shorter. So I think JJ McCarthy will be able to get him the ball, and Hawk's going to be able to do some work with him. So I think Hawk finishes as the number 2 tight end this year.
Okay, very good. Another year removed from the ACL injury. I had him as an elite high volume tight end at the tight end 4 position. 1 pick, actually, I had him as a 1 on the rankings higher than Evan Ingram.
Ooh.
So that's interesting. I like it. I had also, Brenton Strange. We said in our redraft ranking episode, I had Brenton Strange as the tight end 7. And so to make it just a little bit hotter, Brenton Strange as a top 5 tight end in the league.
Top 5?
Top 5. So, only two different. I mean, if we looked back at our redraft episode with Brenton Strange, he had 64 targets week 1 through 6 to 14 when Evan Ingram was injured. And then if you add in Evan Ingram's Evan Ingram had 64 targets while Strange had 53. If you take Ingram out of the equation, that's 106 targets, 80 receptions, 822 yards, 4 touchdowns, 182 fantasy points. That would have been tight end 7. So I have him in my projections as actually the tight end 7. Why not just go two more up and put him in the top 5 realm to make it even hotter?
You heard it here, guys. Heard it here first. Go get Brenton Strange. You can get him probably for a 3rd.
I can't get him for a 3rd. I've tried.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you give it a 2nd for him? Are you that confident? Are you that confident, Dustin?
I would probably ask for Strange and a 3rd back if I gave up a 2nd. I don't think that's bad. I mean, you still got to look at what the value is. I mean, I'm still not going to pull full freight for Brenton Strange. But, if he starts to pop early, that 2nd might be a value.
Maybe.
This was one thing that we had talked about in our tight end episode also. I'll just bring in for the last one as far as hot takes for the tight end position. We had said Jake Ferguson, you had him as tight end 18. I had him as tight end 35. But consensus has him as tight end 13 for Jake Ferguson of the Dallas Cowboys. And so it looks like we're saying that if we put our numbers together, Jake Ferguson falls outside of the tight end 2 overall position. So he's going to be outside the top 24 if we average our numbers out.
I wouldn't say that's – I'd say they're a little hot takey on having him at 13.
Well, there you have it. That's Fantasy Pros. All right. You got some running back hot takes for us? We're getting through these hot takes very quick, may I add.
We are. You got to just spill them out. They're too hot to handle.
We're just letting it go.
It's too hot to handle. I don't want this festering and sitting in my hand too long. I need to get
hot
it out.
Potato.
It's a hot potato. I do. I have a nice one that I think you're going to love. I think you're going to really, really like this one. And that is next year, as we are going into the draft season, people are going to be talking as this man as the running back 1 overall. And that is no other than Omarion Hampton of the Chargers. RB1 going into next season. I think he's going to finish this season out so strong. We're going to see Najee Harris moving on. And people are going to be absolutely going nuts for Omarion Hampton. And he's going to be the number 1 running back.
Over Genty?
Over Genty.
So hot. You're not worried about the Pirate?
I'm not worried about the Pirate. I'm not worried at all.
You're not worried about Vidal?
Come on. Oh. I think I was the only one that was being.
We're so not into Vidal. It was almost like, comical.
I was about the only one that was being sensible about that, man. Everybody was freaking out. I'm like, stop it. Just absolutely stop. It was so over it.
I like it a lot. I just am so sad that I didn't get him in Dynasty. I had an opportunity, and I went with Cam Ward and over Hampton on a quarterback needy team, and it may come back to bite me in the butt.
Possibly could. I have the number 2 pick in one of my leagues, and I'm almost more excited about it than the number 1 pick. Like, I'm half tempted to take Hampton 101. I just don't know. I'm so torn. But at the 102, I know I'm getting him, so I'm super pumped, and I don't have to make that decision at all. So I'm really happy about that.
Well, Colton, I think it's going to be hard for Hampton to be number 1 when I have.
No, you do not.
RJ Harley and not Genty or Hampton finishes the season as the rookie running back 1.
Finishes the season as the rookie RB1. But you'd have to have Hampton do very well this season if he's going to be the RB1 going into next year. So it's going to be interesting to follow. Harvey has some natural running ability, and he has gained weight to put together his strong build. And the targets
that's what's gonna boost up RJ Harvey at the running back performing for the running back position. The Broncos were number 4 in RB targets last season with 117. And let's not forget, Harvey was second most explosive run rank behind Genty coming into going into this coming season. So look for RJ Harvey to actually finish as the rookie running back 1.
You want to hear something wild?
Absolutely
wild.
This is that type of show.
It's not a hot take. It is what happened in a draft last weekend. So I was in a rookie draft last weekend, and I'm drafting. It is a super flex full point tight end premium. So every catch it's 2, right? So I take Travion Henderson at the 104. I've got 104, 106. I'm complete rebuild. I take Tyler Warren at the 106 because I'm like, tight end. I'll just pay up, whatever. Well, this league also has, if you win the loser's bracket, you get the 113. I didn't win, but I traded somebody to get the 113. So at 113, I get RJ Harvey, though. RJ Harvey sit at 113, and then I have the 201 and take Quinshawn Judkins.
Oh, my goodness. You got back.
Back
Very
to back,
good.
I got these men.
I knew Judkins was going around 12, so you still got him at value.
I got Henderson, Judkins, Harvey, and still got the tight end on top of it, taking the risk on that. It was wild. I was feeling real good leaving that draft.
So with Judkins, are you still pretty excited for him, or are you concerned about the off the field, not having the contract signed yet?
I'm very concerned. It is absolutely concerning. But we've seen a lot of things happen with other, maybe he's going to have to, maybe he gets suspended a full year or whatnot. But still spending a second on someone that is that gifted. He was going at, 103, 104, 105-ish range prior to all this happening. Yes, that is a terrible thing that he did. I do not, condone any of that. But taking a shot on him now at the second round, you get him pretty much, almost a full round later. I was going to just take the shot on having that upside. You're not picking the player for how good of a person he is. Sometimes you just got to bite it, and nobody wanted him, and I'm like, sure, why not? But my real big thing is Harvey getting him at the 113 and Judkins then right there after him. It was wild. So I've got 3 great running backs just sitting in my arsenal now and I mean full rebuild team. I took this over as an orphan from like somebody that had absolutely wrecked their team. Like they had no idea what they were doing. It was some awful.
Great building blocks.
So I've really got some great building blocks, but man, I was baffled getting Harvey at the 13 and Judkins at the 201.
Speaking of late rookie drafts, we do have our Wizarding World rookie draft coming up this week on Harry Potter's birthday, July 31st.
Yes, we do.
We'll have to bring that to the forefront for a late rookie draft.
I've got one tomorrow.
You got another one tomorrow?
Oh, yeah. I've got one every single weekend up until the season begins now.
Your rookie drafts are so late.
We do all of our rookie drafts late. I play with a lot of guys that like to hear the training camp news. They love to feed into that buzz. So I really like to let them do it too. And they're like, oh, this guy's going to be so good. Like one guy last year took, I believe, who's the running back for the Giants? That was rookie last year.
Oh, Tyrone Tracy.
Tyrone Tracy. He went like 108 in one of the leagues last year because this guy was like, oh man, he's just blowing it up.
He was a late round ad. He did great.
He did fine, but it was
out of all the running backs last year in the 2024 class, he was still especially top few.
It was just wild. So they just like to feed into that, and I'm like, whatever, I'll let you do it. Fine.
I think it was fine. That's fine.
I don't know about the 108 though, man.
Out of all the other running backs,
they took him before Ladd.
Well, okay. Well,
no,
you need to just take Ladd before that. Come on.
Yeah,
Come on.
Thank you.
Come on, kid. All right. Well, bring us into do you have a quarterback?
I do. I do have a quarterback hot take.
It'd be interesting to see if we have the same one.
It will be interesting. Mine.
Stay tuned.
Mine is he's going to finish as a top 5 quarterback. And it's not surprising because 2 years ago, he finished as the quarterback 3. And now he has added weapons to his receiving core.
Don't say
But
JJ McCarthy.
absolutely added zero weapons to their running back core. And this has been a running back needy team that they've needed a running back for multiple years now, and they just haven't done it. So they're going to have to keep slinging. But Dak Prescott finishes as a top 5 quarterback easily. Adding George Pickens, having CeeDee Lamb still, a healthy CeeDee Lamb. They did not get a running back of consequence, so they're going to have to keep slinging this ball. And I think Dak Prescott is just going to sling it left and right, coming back healthy, and he's going to be a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, I'm just looking back at our quarterback episode. You had ranked Dak as the number 12 on your list as far as like for redraft. And so if he's going to be a top 5 quarterback, you're definitely going to get some value in your redraft leagues.
He's definitely somebody that I'm going to be targeting late because people are going to just sit back on him. You know, especially in like leagues where it is six point for throwing touchdowns. Absolutely add this man to your roster because that's going to be he's going to go insane. I have a feeling.
Well, my quarterback hot take is something I've been talking about all offseason, and that is looking back. We remember a time when Matt Flynn was the quarterback that got a bloated contract coming out of the NFC North, and none other than a late round quarterback took his place to start the season, and that was Russell Wilson. I initially thought that it was going to be Dylan Gabriel, but nay. They drafted Jalen Milroe instead. And I'm going to stick to my guns on this and say that Jalen Milroe will be the starting quarterback for the Seahawks week 1 of this season over Sam Darnold. And part of that is because the Seahawks offensive line is the worst in the NFL. And we already saw Sam Darnold turn into a pumpkin when the line started to crumble around him with the Minnesota Vikings just last year. Watch the playoffs. My God, it was awful. And nothing fixes a bad offensive line than a running quarterback, a running style quarterback. And we all know that Jalen Milroe has that Konami code and that running ability. And just put him in. Just put him in at the quarterback position, and this team is going to ride on. Not with Russell Wilson, not with Sam Darnold, but with Jalen Milroe as their starting quarterback for the Seahawks.
Ooh. I mean, with my picking up Jalen Milroe off the waiver wires, I would love that to happen. He's got that cheat code in the run. He's honestly one of the purest, best runners I've seen come out of college football. I have some serious concerns with his throwing abilities. Everywhere, all over the field. People said he had a cannon, but I saw him underthrow people left and right and inaccurate. Hands. Yeah, he just was inaccurate. He couldn't throw it short either. So Cooper Kupp and JSN beware.
This man grows very quickly. We saw from the combine to his pro day that his hand grew by like an inch.
Mr. Fantastic. He was able to just stretch it out. So he'll be able to sling it like a slingshot.
Rubber band man.
I would love it nonetheless. I mean, he has that rushing ability, and he would still be great for fantasy wise because he would run the ball left and right. And so I wouldn't hate it, especially getting him off the waivers. But man, it's pretty hot.
I've got only just a couple hot takes left. I've got one with the coach and one with we got our Super Bowl winners. Do you have any other hot takes before we get into the coaching hot takes or the Super Bowl winner hot takes?
I've got my Super Bowl and my coach hot takes left.
You were pretty good with the coaching one last year. Why don't you bring in your coaching hot take?
So my coaching hot take this year, and this one is probably sitting on the edge of controversy because people do like this coach. I like him. I don't think he's terrible, but my goodness, he has not done anything with this team. And this
Ben Johnson.
One day we're talking about Hall of Fame quarterback, and that is Zach Taylor of the Cincinnati Bengals is the first coach fired. If this team does not pick it up and do it this year, if they aren't winning games, I have a feeling Zach Taylor is absolutely getting ousted, because there's no way that he should be getting this team, letting this team keep losing with the offense that is there for them. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow. I mean, there's a whole bunch of money. It's just this defense is so terrible that there's no way that they just keep letting Zach Taylor ride this out and keep not winning with this team. 0% chance. And I think if they start on a losing streak again like they did last year, it's gone. It's done for.
That's a really good one there, Colton. I was watching some interviews with Zach Taylor and was watching some training camp stuff in the off season, and I was like, how does this guy still have his job?
How does he have it? I don't know.
I don't know how he has it. He's been with the team for some time, and as you said, like, they just underperformed.
Yeah, underperformed.
They didn't make any adjustments when they were in the Super Bowl just a couple of years ago either.
No. I mean, I think that's the only like little tiny strand that is keeping him to this head coaching job, is that he made the Super Bowl for them one year, and I don't even think it was him. I think they could have won it if he would have been a better coach. I think this team's problem is the head coach. I think he is a great coach, not a great head coach.
Okay. So more of a coordinator versus a head coach.
Yep.
We've seen a lot of coaches go up that ladder until they get to a point, well, maybe that's not their specialty, and then they kind of come back down. And we've seen that with Chip Kelly now. Chip Kelly's with the Raiders as their offensive coordinator. He had to go back to college before coming back to the NFL.
Yep, we've seen it happen time and time again. I mean, we might be talking about the same. I was going to say the Colts head coach, Steichen, but I felt like that was the low-hanging fruit.
I don't know. I think he's going to make some magic happen there with Daniel Indiana Jones. Although I did hear just yesterday that their offense looked completely terrible.
Oh yeah,
no, anything going at all with either quarterback, and
either
so
one. I heard Anthony
good.
I heard Anthony Richardson had a better day yesterday.
That is so sad.
It's ugly. It's brutal. I just want you to know I'm full-fledged Vikings fan this year. So go Vikes. Skol, baby.
Boy. You better bust out some Vikings jerseys. I want to see them on here.
Disappointment everywhere I go. My two teams.
Don't bring that to the Vikings. We got enough of that too. My hot take coach, first head coach fired, is actually none other than the Arizona Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon. The Arizona Cardinals didn't do anything in the offseason to change this offense. They poorly used Marvin Harrison Jr., and the scheme just doesn't seem like it's fitting at all. They're leaning on a running back that's just barely hanging on. They misused and didn't use their backup running backs. Michael Wilson's just kind of running out there as the wide receiver too, and unfortunately, I thought he was going to be a special wide receiver, and he really hasn't shown a whole lot. And maybe it all comes down to Kyler Murray's just not a very good quarterback. He hasn't been running as frequently, although they're suggesting that maybe he'll run a little bit more. I don't know. I think this team continues to spin their wheels. I feel like they don't even make it close to making a playoff berth. The wheels fall off quickly, and Jonathan Gannon is the first head coach that's fired. And this is something that I said all the way back at the end of June, and I'm just repeating it here for the hot take episode.
Absolutely. This could be the one right here. He's got to be on the hot seat. They didn't do anything, like you said. They did nothing to change this offense. The offensive coordinator was horrible last year. I mean, we were talking mad smack about Trey Benson as well last year, like how it looked like he had no vision and couldn't do anything. They were really relying on James Conner to help carry this team. And, a lot of this comes back down. We were talking about how Kyler Murray's terrible and Trey Benson's terrible and Michael Wilson's not looking good. But Marvin Harrison isn't looking good. Is it them? Or is it this offensive coordinator that's not creating a right environment for them? I think this offensive coordinator has been awful. They didn't utilize them correctly. They're not creating a good environment for these players to thrive in. We could be talking about some of these guys completely differently once they get fired and they bring in a whole new regime that revamps this offense. I'm not saying that these players are going to go from zero to hero and they're all magically going to be, we're talking about them as the greatest players ever, but we could be talking about them like, maybe it wasn't their fault, because, there seems to be a common denominator here because we liked Trey Benson going into the season. We loved Marvin Harrison. We loved these players. Like, we like Michael Wilson. And then all of a sudden we're like,
You do?
we liked Michael Wilson. Don't act like you
I like
didn't
Michael Wilson a lot, but I've had to drop him in a league, and
Yeah,
I'm fearful that I've got to drop him in another league in order to, make the active roster moves that I need to make it a legal team.
There's a common denominator here, and that's a piss poor offense. So, I mean, if they don't revamp it or do something, I could absolutely see the offensive coordinator being let go and then Jonathan Gannon shortly after. And maybe that's for the best. Maybe it'll help the players out.
Both of these coaches that we bring up are definitely have to be on the hot seat.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Their butt has to be burning.
Whew. Smoky. Smells like cooked Zach Taylor up in here.
Something smells fishy. All right. That brings us into our Super Bowl winners.
So I found this super funny because we were discussing this at the beginning. Neither one of us have released our Super Bowl winner to the other yet.
I've got one now, Colton.
As you were going through yours and you were thinking, you said specifically, this team is not making it. You said specifically, I don't think anyone from this conference is going to make it.
Oh, no.
Whereas I believe this year is the year for the Detroit Lions are your Super Bowl winners. I think, and this is my own thought just running wild, that they were so reliant on Ben Johnson to create this magical offense for them that they're like, we can ride this puppy into the sunset. They didn't have to focus as much on getting creative in other ways or really focusing on their defense. Not to mention their defense had 13 injured starters. There's only 11 players on the field for defense, and they had 13 of them injured somehow. They had a horrible season, not to mention Aiden Hutchinson, who is the front runner for the Defensive Player of the Year, coming back from injury. So hopefully he's back to health. He looks strong. He looks healthy. They've got him. So hopefully this defense can stay healthy and they are able to utilize it more. I mean, they were having to play in shootouts last year because their defense was so beaten down. And I think that this offense is still going to roll, and they're not going to have to rely on Ben Johnson creating this magic anymore. They're able to focus on other ways. So I think the Detroit Lions have a serious shot at being your Super Bowl winners this year.
There was a lot of people thinking they were going to make the run last year. And as you said, the injuries just kind of caught up with them there at the end. They also just had what the buzz saw that was the Washington Commanders last year. And then the Commanders moved forward, then, eventually played the Philadelphia Eagles. And Eagles ended up winning it all when it was all said and done. But the Lions are an interesting one. I was trying to kind of play it in my head who's going to be the next Super Bowl winner. And I definitely said, I don't think anyone in the NFC North. I was trying to think about the league, like, who am I thinking that's going to be the Super Bowl winner? And I was like, well, I don't think the Chargers, and I don't think the Buccaneers. And my mind started to think, well, maybe the Buffalo Bills. And now, Colton, I think I finally have my hot take Super Bowl winner for this year. And it's got to be – it has to mesh with some of my hot takes that I said earlier. Ingram, tight end 1.
No.
RJ Harvey.
No.
Rookie running back 1. I've got to go with the Denver Broncos. They are a team that surprised everybody last year with making the playoffs, putting forth a very good offense. Their defense has been elite. They've got everything around them now that they've got an elite tight end. And now they have a running back that can actually run and catch the ball out. I mean, who did they have last year? Javonte Williams. He's been broken since his injuries. And they've just had undrafted guys just kind of popping up here and there. They needed an elite talent, and RJ Harvey is that. They've got Sean Payton. He's been there, done that before, unfortunately, against my Minnesota Vikings, in the NFC Championship game. stepping in and winning the Super Bowl. Still salty about the Saints. But this year, it's actually going to be the Denver Broncos, a place where you had once called home.
I was going to say, I'm going to send this to all my contacts back at the place I used to call home. They're going to absolutely love this and go nuts for it. I hear from one of my good buddies out there all the time. You see what the Broncos are doing? Patrick Mahomes is shaking in his pants.
I see the Broncos.
They're
I
gonna
see the
love it.
Broncos. I see RJ Harvey. I see Ingram. I see Sutton. I see this team taking that leap forward, not only winning a playoff game, but winning this Super Bowl.
I can absolutely see it. They need some things to fall in place and some luck, a little bit of luck on their side. They do have a tough division now, but I mean, you're forgetting one key component as well. Not only do they have RJ Harvey, but they have a very capable second running back, and that's J.K. Dobbins. They have two running backs that can absolutely handle, receiving ability and the run. So they have guys they can rotate in and out. They have two guys that can do a lot and do it all, so they can be taking breaks and keep their running backs fresh, for the whole year. They don't have to rely on a guy that is going to be worn and run down at the end of the year. I mean, they can easily keep them swapped in and out and do everything. I do think they need another receiving option to help. So maybe they go and pick someone up at the trade deadline, or Keenan Allen's still floating around out there. I bet they would love to have someone like that. I think there's some things that still need to fall in place, but it's not out of the realm of possibilities. I love it.
I can see it about as clear can be right now, Colton. The Denver Broncos hoisting that Lombardi trophy at the end of the season. And not only that, but they're also playing in a division that is getting more competitive. So every week is going to feel like a playoff game for them. They're playing the Raiders that are really starting to come forth. You've got the Chargers that are pushing forward with Herbert. And then you've got the Chiefs who have done it year in and year out. They've been to the Super Bowl 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
That's impressive. That's a tough thing to do. And they made it there 3 years in a row. They're a tough team. So the Broncos with Bo Nix, a modern day quarterback that can run, that can throw. He's got a good offensive line, an excellent defense. He's got the weapons around him. They make their push, Colton.
I love it. To all you old homelanders listening, send me a text. Let me know how much you love it.
Any last second hot takes before we end the show? I felt like we got through a lot of news. We got through a lot of takes.
Anthony Richardson is your quarterback one.
Clip it, snap it,
put it in.
Hot take, Colton.
Taking it back.
Can you repeat it one more time for the listeners that
Daniel Jones is your quarterback one?
Yeah. And that's it, folks. That's the show.
We're done. We're out. Salud.
Salud.
La 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 la.